Alright guys, in this video we are going to finally actually move this state for the image viewer to a separate kind of component such that we can have multiple images shown at the same time. And that means we're going to take the stuff and we're going to make something that we can call an image component. Or maybe instead of component, let's call it image viewer. We have an image viewer. It has all this stuff, and we are going to remove this, and we're going to have image viewers, and it's just going to be a vector of image viewers. I think. Let's try it like this. All right. Now all of this does not work. But that is fine. Let's get rid of that. And this stuff. Okay, so we're gonna have to like implement. Actually, let's take this code and put it into a separate module like this. And then we're going to say, okay, actually image viewer is a module, and we're just going to use everything from in there right now. Like that. Okay, and this one, maybe it has to be public. And now we can start refactoring pretty easily. So we need to implement the image viewer. And I think we can just grab this code and let's make it a public function. And we also need to use this stuff. All right. And we need some other things like color image and texture handle, texture options we don't really need. Gray image we're not using. For now, let's do it this way, although I would really like to have not a dynamic image. But let's do the refactoring and see if we can actually get it to work. Okay, load texture. And this one, we are going to just have as an empty one right now. Same for the background job. And this one is kind of interesting. Probably keep it empty for now just to get things compiling. Handle zoom, I think, should go over here. Make it a public function for now. Or maybe we should keep things non-public just to see what we actually need to make public. Okay, so we get this guy. I think we need allocate sizes. And then this function, it kind of has the same signature as this update function, almost. Right, image component. Okay, that's a lot of stuff. It has UI and a context, and this one has just a context and a frame. Okay, but whatever, we're gonna make a function here that we call, I think, content. Very good name. And the canvas is part of this function, so we're gonna grab that as part of that component. So we save all of that. We can load the image. And what are we gonna do? So maybe we want a function here that's like load image, which takes a mutable reference to self, and it takes an image. So what is it? It's a dynamic image. So let's just take dynamic image. And what we're going to do is we are going to actually, how about we say from image? And it returns itself. Okay, so we have the image, and then we need, so let's say original image is equal to, maybe we don't need options now, but let's just keep it as options. The image can just be the image. We take ownership of it, so I think that's great. The color image is kind of want to grab this stuff maybe. We're going to do that. Maybe we'll keep it as none for now. And the texture handle can also be none. Then we have zoom factor is 1. Drag offset is 0, 0. And the value floor 0. Value ceiling 1. And histogram rectangles is none. And then we simply return that. Basically, we can do this. And there we go. All right, so that should let us create this thing. So now we can say self.image viewers push image viewer from image. And really this one just don't return well. Okay, so let's load the image. Start by loading the image, and if we actually manage to load something, then we're going to push that in here. So let's have a look. What's the problem? This is an option. Some image maybe. Okay, so this function is private. So that's the real problem. I think. I thought it was. So we have like a name clash. No, still not. It's because I need to save that. Okay. This we can get rid of. And this text stuff, maybe I want to just ignore that. And then we can say for image viewer and self image viewers, just by reference. For each of them, we're going to allocate some stuff, and we're going to say image viewer content like that. And this is private, but we can just make it public. So this one requires a mutable borrow. Okay, can I do like that? Fine. And then we have some other stuff here, which should be okay. Let's now try to run it. And it did not compile. And why didn't it compile? So let's actually get the errors here. Okay, first error. Texture options in the image viewer. So actually we did texture options. Fair enough. Next error. Unresolved crate. So we need the color, which was coming from okay, so we have to use create color maybe. And let's try to build it again. Okay, that still didn't work. Actually, let's clear and then run. That also didn't work. Okay, whatever. So gonna compile. Where's the error? Start. So we'll thread it. It's fine. We'll just get rid of that for now. And maybe that's it. Okay, looks like there's no immediate error. Now we load an image and it does not work. Does not work. So why doesn't it work? This is not the main function, so we have to go here and in the update function. So let's print some information. So load it successfully. And otherwise we can say fail to load. Let's try to run that. So it did load, but for some reason we are not seeing anything. So we have images, push from image. And then we go here, we allocate stuff. That seems correct. What do we have in here in the content? So the problem is we never really loaded enough things, which is the problem with this stuff. So let's say let value equal to this. And then we actually have to say load color image, load texture. This should be refactored, but we're going to endure this for now. So it needs a context. So let's give it a context. Or perhaps we can, in the content function, we also get the context. So we can do in this if statement, we can actually load it if it's not loaded already. Maybe that is okay. Let's try that. So in content, okay, it's already loaded here, but if it's not actually loaded, then we say self.load color image, self.load texture. Go ahead and take the context and cannot borrow as mutable. It's not declared as mutable. Okay. Right, it doesn't need to be mutable. Doesn't need to be mutable, and there we have it. Let's try that. Didn't work. Did not work. Right, so we actually did not need the context here. Try again. Let's see what we get. So now we can get an image here. We can drag, we can zoom and stuff. We can reset. We can even change the kind of intensity cutoff. And we can also load another image. We can load another image and so on. Doesn't really scroll right now, but that's fine. So we basically achieved this thing where we can have multiple images, and I don't know if you noticed, they actually are independent, so I can change these. Before they were kind of synchronized. Now they are independent, and so now we basically have a reusable component. And maybe I'll get rid of this stuff, and probably let's keep that text. Now what would we like to do? Maybe we'd like to re-enable this Reusable stuff. So what we can do is we can say if UI button Reusable, then here we should actually start the background job, which I kind of forgot how we did that. We just call this one. But what image do we give it? So maybe that's something we have to think about. But let's first of all check how this looks. So let's check how it looks. So we just get an extra button here, and this button, maybe let's move it. Actually, that'll be a little bit nicer. Let's move it so it's say apply intensity scaling. Let's move that button into the horizontal layout. I think that'll be nicer. So like that. Now, fair enough. Now we run it. And now we have this, okay, it's a little bit, a bit large, but how about just apply scaling? Okay, anyway, so what is this supposed to do? It's supposed to actually start the Reusable thread, but we don't have an image. So what's happening here is also we're getting copies we're creating a copy right away. So why don't we just actually take the copy already? It should be grayscale. So we're just going to call that Luma image. So that's going to be this one actually. So Luma image. And there we go. So now we can run that, and we can also check the background thread. And then we actually need to know which image we were operating on. So that's something we can keep here, like let's say job index. It's going to be a usize. We have to take that here as well. And we're going to have to say self.job index equals job index. And in here we get the result. And then we're going to say self.image viewers. Is there like a get? So if given a position versus a reference to the element, given a range, none if out of bounds. So maybe that's what we want. So self.job index. And we're going to say if let some image viewer equals this stuff. We're going to say image viewer, and this should be a mutable reference. So image viewer dot image probably dot image replace with a dynamic image from the result. And then we have to remember to load the color image and load the texture. Probably those are not public. They are not public, so we have to make them public. What's the next one? Here we go. And this field is also private. So there's some stuff probably would be nice to change as well. Okay, anyway, so this one is running the compute job, not this function. I don't think this function is used anymore. So I'm actually gonna destroy it like that. Okay. Interesting thing is what happens if we spawn multiple jobs. So we can say here, starting job, then job, job finished. Let's run that. And let's load 2 images. And now what happens if we click this one and then that one? So it just said hello, which is of course because we never actually called this function. I'm gonna say self. And now we actually need the index. So we're gonna get an index here. And here we're gonna say it's mutable and enumerate. So I think that should give us this still mutable reference, and this is an index. Here we need to actually get the gray, the Luma image. So it's going to be the image viewer dot image, and what about let some image equals image viewer dot image. Okay, so we get that. And here we can say image to Luma 8. And then we say run this for the Luma image and this index. And now we have a problem. It's kind of interesting. So maybe we have to say like started index is equal to none. Here we say started index is equal to some index. And here we say if let some index equals started index, then we can actually get the thing. So the image viewers index image. I think that should work. Here is index. This one we unwrap. And it's just, we just need a reference. This one has to be mutable and cannot move out of. So as ref maybe. As ref, did that work? Try using a fully qualified path to specify the expected types. Come on. So can I say get this thing? Okay, so it's already a reference. We can unwrap it twice. Cannot move out of shared reference. What is going on? Come on. So this one maybe as ref. Okay. Fantastic. Let positions in this. Okay, that doesn't really matter because now we just need to say is some. All right, so now it should work. Let's try to run it and see what happens. So we load 2, we run. Okay, so it's basically too fast for me to press both. So let's make another button, run all, and then we are going to now I don't need a mutable. Maybe just iterate now. No, we do need the mutable. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is for image viewer and self image viewers, and we don't need a mutable iteration, I think, because we're not actually mutating the image viewers. If let sum image equal iv.image, and we have borrow, fair enough. Then the Luma image is image to Luma self, and actually we do want the index. To Luma 8, we need to say. And now we have the same, we can issue again. The same issue again. So really we need to do something like 0 to self.image viewers length, and it's just gonna be this, and the image viewer is self image viewers this, and that can be a reference. It's fine. So we have to do this instead. Whatever. Okay, so now we load 2, and now we can click run all, see what happens. So what happened was they both finished, and only the last one was replaced. So it means that the thread ran to completion. I wonder if we can say like if let some handle equal self background job handle. What can we do here? Can we try to cancel it some way? Doesn't look like it. We can wait for it to finish, which is not what I want. We can get the underlying thread, and then maybe we can kill that somehow. Doesn't look like it. Well, I suppose it's actually fine. Let's get rid of this run all again. And let's take stock of what we have. Can load images. They operate independently. We can apply some operations to them. I wonder what happens if we do something like this and then run this operation. Yeah, so you can see we are losing some edges, which is what you would expect, like here. That's kind of interesting. If we only keep the main part, sort of, then run it, and here we can maybe go back to the original. Do we see anything interesting? Yeah, we do lose some edges here and stuff. Is it cleaner? Maybe it has slightly less. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so that's obviously a bug that they both zoom. So let's fix that bug. So handle zoom. How do we do it in the handle drag actually? It's so the handle zoom is just doing something. Okay, this one is just applying the zoom. Actually, it doesn't know what the zoom is. And this is the one. So we should say like how to get the mouse position. Where's this response? So actually we need to put it in here, I think. Then response hover. So if it's hovered, then we can apply this stuff. Let's try that. So we load 2 times. Now I zoom one, doesn't zoom the other one. Perfect. Perfect. Now we can try these things, like let's cut off uninteresting things. Let's keep only this stuff. So apply scaling, Reusable. And what does that do? Still, like, it has these noisy areas. Up here we lose some information, but maybe you could argue that edges are a little bit cleaner, but overall probably like you don't really want to do any scaling. All right. So I think that's gonna do it for this series. There is still some things you could check. Like I'm not 100% sure that we are not leaking memory in some way. Especially if you run many transformations of the images and such. I mean, it should be pretty clean. Like if you have an image and you load another one, you just drop what's there. So it should get freed, but that's something you could check. You could run some kind of memory profiling, but we're not going to do that for now. I think that with this, I'm going to end this series and turn to other things. So if you've been here for all of the videos, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.